This is Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything Stadia related, and today it's time we do a news update. Today we'll be discussing some recent comments made about Call of Duty Warzone coming to Stadia, wireless controller support for the web browser, and Stadia coming to Android TV. But before we dive into all that, let's quickly go over the newest Stadia Pro subscriber deals. So if you're a Stadia Pro member, right now you can pick up Doom Eternal Standard Edition for $44.99 and the Deluxe Edition for $67.49. That's a flat 25% off across the board. Not only is it one of my favorite games so far this year, but I highly recommend it because the port is fantastic. But for those of you who are still addicted to Grid after receiving it free as a part of Pro, well, you can get the ultimate upgrade for just $12.50. That's 50% off and includes all the DLC. If you're really enjoying the game, this is a no-brainer, and it actually provides quite a significant amount of content, so I would highly suggest picking this one up. But if you're looking for a deep story to immerse yourself into, well, lucky for you, Lost Words Beyond the Page is currently on sale for $10.04. That's coming in at 33% off, and I highly suggest anyone looking for a very strong narrative to check this game out. The storytelling throughout is top-notch, and I really hope more people get to experience it. Now, if you're still riding the hype that was the Assassin's Creed Valhalla trailer, it seems Ubisoft's got a plan to tide you over, and that's by putting Assassin's Creed Odyssey on sale for 67% off. That applies to both the standard and ultimate edition of the game, and they come in at $19.80 and $39.60 respectively. But let's say you already own the game. Well, the Season Pass is also on sale for 50% off, so it's $20. And the last sale that they brought in this week is Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game 3. Coming in with a 40% discount priced at $35.99, all I have to say is that it's a really fun game that I'm sure any fan of the sport will enjoy. But if you want to know more about it, then be sure to check out the annotation above where I did review the title. Now that we got the Stadia Pro deals out of the way, let's quickly discuss a recent statement coming from narrative director at Infinity Ward, Taylor Kurosaki. In an interview with GamerGen.com, he was asked whether or not Warzone will be ported over to the PS5 or Xbox Series X, but also asked about a Google Stadia version. When talking about the two upcoming consoles, his response was somewhat positive, stating that Warzone is going to be around for quite some time, and as soon as those new systems are out and available, I'm sure we'll support them. Later in the interview, he was asked about a potential port to Google Stadia, and his response was a bit more negative, stating that we've got no plan of porting it on Google Stadia at this time. Now, when I first read this, I was extremely disappointed. If I'm being honest with you, Warzone is my go-to battle royale, and I was really hoping for a Stadia port of the title. And that statement makes it sound like we won't be getting it anytime soon, if at all. But I do want to point out that this wouldn't be the first time we've heard that there's no plans to porting a game over to Google Stadia. In fact, we heard something similar with Cyberpunk 2077. So I'm still hopeful that it will find its way eventually, but I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later. Especially with the most recent announcement that Call of Duty Warzone will be continuing throughout different Call of Duty's life cycles, it just makes sense to port this battle royale over. Not to mention the fact that if I'm able to play it on Stadia, it means I no longer have to keep a 200GB file on my PC. But tell me what you think. Do you believe this is a final nail in the coffin for Warzone on Stadia, or do you think it'll find its way eventually? Be sure to let me know in the comments section below, but now let's move on to the next bit of news, and that's wireless support for the Stadia controller on the Chrome web browser. Now, it is important to note that this is slowly rolling out this week, but it's actually showed up already for me, and I have to say it works amazingly. All you have to do is turn on your Stadia controller, click the controller button at the top right hand corner, and then press a code that it tells you to. Just like that, you'll be able to play wirelessly with your Stadia controller on your web browser, and there are some really nice benefits that come along with this. First up is the fact that your controller connects directly to your Wi-Fi, so it should reduce the input latency you experience when compared to playing with a control wired to your computer. And since the controller itself connects directly through Wi-Fi, it means your device doesn't need to actually have Bluetooth to connect wirelessly. The last big benefit is for those of you who are using the Chromium APK to play on an Android device that may not be supported yet. That's because this will also allow you to play with the Stadia controller using that Chromium APK, which is a huge deal. All in all, I already spent a couple hours playing wirelessly on my Chrome web browser and I ran into zero issues. I have to say, if anything, it feels a bit better playing on my browser than it does on my Chromecast Ultra. Once again, before we move on, if this feature hasn't showed up for you on Stadia.com, then don't worry, it is rolling out and will appear soon enough. Now the last bit of news for the day comes from 9to5Google, as they did a recent APK insight on the latest Stadia app update. The biggest news to come out of it is that Android TV will soon have Stadia support. Now this shouldn't be too much of a surprise. After all, the Stadia app does show a lot of Android TV devices already selectable, but when you try casting to them, it tells you to try again later that the feature is coming soon. But if these strings are any indication, it sounds like we may be getting it sooner than we thought. Some other very interesting strings were found relating to sharing of captures as well as text chat. The capture sharing would make a lot of sense since Google recently just enabled the use of the capture button on the Stadia controller when used on Android phones, and it's always felt kinda weird that you can capture things but can't easily share them across social media. As for the text chat, it definitely sounds like it's still in the early stages according to those strings, but I have to say that I'm just glad it's coming, because I've always been a bit surprised that Stadia decided to launch without it. Either way, I have to say these APK insights by 9to5Google do a fantastic job at letting us know what we can expect sometime in the future. I also gotta give credit to Google because they've been really pushing out these updates fast, and I can't wait to see what this platform looks like a year down the road. Android TV support is undoubtedly gonna be huge because that means many more devices are gonna be compatible at once. Till now, we've all been restricted to using Chromecast Ultras to play on our TVs, but a lot of TVs actually come with Android TV built in nowadays. Anyways, that pretty much wraps up all the news I have for you today, so if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out. And if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Today's end of video message is a simple question. Do you have an Android TV supported device at home? And if so, is it a set-top box or a TV itself? As for myself, I have an Nvidia Shield TV and I do have the Chromium APK to play Stadia, but I can't wait till it just supports it natively. I look forward to reading your replies. As always, this has been Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything Stadia related. The Gen S community is over 3,800 strong and growing by the day, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.